Hola from Mexico. I am here in this really cute place in Guadalajara right now. It's my first time visiting the country. I'm here for a quick medical treatment. The way that I said that sounds like I'm about to get my whole face rearranged with plastic surgery, and that's not at all what's happening. For this past year, I've been on a little bit of a mission to revamp my life and figure out what I want and where I want to be and what I want to be doing. And I've kind of let my imagination run wild and also been a little bit more of a yes man and seeing where life is going to take me. And Pluto is now moving into Aquarius tomorrow, as a matter of fact. As of the time that I'm filming this video, today's the 17th of November. By the time you see this video, it's probably gonna be a little bit later than that. If you're not into astrology, don't stop rolling your eyes, okay? This is a big deal for the rest of us. But I really do feel, and I know this is like spiritual mumbo jumbo, but I feel it, okay? I feel that there is this energetic shift. The vibes are changing, and I feel it. At least the vibes for me in my life, in my world, are changing, and I feel it. And I've felt this need since I've moved out of Greece last year and I moved to the US. And I feel this desire to kind of reinvent myself. I'm like, this is a new place, new opportunity, new people, completely new life. And I feel like in order for me to really succeed in this new life, I also have to be kind of a newer version of myself. And whether or not you're into astrology, I feel like it is a good opportunity and a great time of the year to start thinking about what I want, which a lot of us, I think, struggle with asking ourselves that, forget to ask ourselves, what do we want? To also ask ourselves, who do I want to be? Because I think to an extent, we're all at a baseline someone, and then there's a certain upper crust of things that we are in control of changing. Because I don't think that it's really possible to change your personality in an authentic way. I don't think it's really possible to change who you are as a person, but I think that habits can change, a lifestyle can change, your location can change, your job can change, your friends can change, your partner can change. Everything around you can change, how you react to things can change. So there's a lot of things about ourselves that define who we are that are malleable and can be worked with. And so for me, I've been kind of evaluating who I was and who I want to be, and I've put together a 10 questions questionnaire with how you can do that as well today. It's gonna be a little workbook session, so grab your notes, grab your pens, because we are going to reinvent ourselves today, bitches, whether you want it or not. I don't care if you're happy with who you are, you're reinventing yourself today. I feel like a good accompaniment, is that a word? Hopefully, to this is also mood boards. Girlies love mood boards. I'm one of them. I feel like Pinterest is a great place to start and kind of collaging together the things that you want to embody in this newer version of yourself for the Pluto and Aquarius era that we're entering. If you are in a place where you don't really know what you want, you don't really know what you want your future self to be, you're not really sure where you wanna live, what you wanna do, this is such a great exercise. I've feel like I've been in that headspace for such a long time. I have felt really lost and disconnected from myself. My friends, my family were telling me that I've kind of lost myself. And it's bad when the people that know you best are telling you that you've lost yourself. And I feel like losing yourself sometimes is kind of necessary in order to get reintroduced to a newer version of yourself. For me, the reinvention workbook helped tremendously to get me out of this lost headspace. I feel a lot more grounded, and I don't feel like I am 100% this person. I don't feel like I'm even close, but now I have kind of a North Star guiding me, and I really needed that. And I would honestly recommend answering these questions when you're having, like, a day off, maybe that you can sit alone, light some candles, put on some relaxing music, and kind of set a zen mood so that you can sit and get grounded with yourself and be able to answer these questions as honestly as possible. And the other thing that helped me with answering these questions was going through them and starting with the one that was the easiest for me to answer, and then picking the second easiest one, and then moving myself up the ranks like that, and not really just following the list directly. Maybe meditate beforehand, just get your headspace in a place where it's it's not super clouded. Maybe don't drink caffeine before, don't really take any stimulants that are gonna get you all wired and neurotic. Like, you want to be chill. So, if you're a night person or a morning person, maybe this will determine the time of the day that it's good for you to do that. For me, I'm a morning person, and the morning time is when I did this exercise because that's when I feel like I have the most clarity. That's the time of the day that I feel more myself and more able to use my brain. Nighttime is not a great time for me at all. I know it might be hard for some, but try and dedicate some time beforehand to really get yourself in a state that's as positive as possible, as light as possible. And maybe that's through dancing, through singing, through socializing with people, whatever it is that makes you feel more connected to yourself, do that beforehand because you want to be in a clear and lucid state of mind when you're doing this, because you don't wanna be looking at this workbook the next day and being like, "Who is this person? I don't wanna be this bitch." You know what I mean? So you wanna really make sure that you're doing this during a time where you're able to answer honestly. Alright, so now the vibes are high, the incense is lit, the candles are lit, the lighting is moody. The vibes are immaculate, and you are ready to reinvent yourself. So, question number 1, that was the easiest for me to answer, but might not be for you, is what is future me's hobbies? That one was an easy one to write because I have an infinite list of hobbies that I don't feel like I ever get the time to do, and I really do want to be that person that not only has a bunch of interests, but actually is able to follow these interests, go after them, pursue them, have fun with them. I've really kind of let go of all of the stuff that have made me me since I moved to the States, because everything is just so much more expensive, and I'm coming to terms with the fact that I need to be making a lot more money here in order to be able to be doing the things that bring me joy and the things that make me happy. So immediately by answering this first question, I understand that, like, oh, in the next few questions, the money is going to be relevant, and how much money I wanna be making is going to be relevant, and it's going to be something that I need to be taking into consideration. So at the top of the list of hobbies and interests for me is pole dance. I found with pole dancing a sport that's also creative and beautiful and difficult and challenging and just gives me so much joy. I haven't really been able to do that since I have moved to the States, partially because I haven't really found any good pole dance studios. The environment is just not really my vibe. I don't know, maybe I'm like a cynical Balkan European, like, but I don't wanna go to a pole dance studio and talk about what I'm grateful for the first 5 minutes of the class. So American, so, like, truly American to, like, sit in a circle and be like, "Hi, I'm Kristen, and today I'm grateful for" is just so inauthentic, and I just found that really unpleasant to have to do that. The other thing is that pole dance classes in the States are expensive, and you're not really getting the same level of skill from the teachers that you do back in Greece, at least. I feel like part of it is because the sport is a lot more popular in Eastern Europe and in the Balkans, because women there are, I think, more in touch with their sexuality because it's considered kind of a sexual sport, and more comfortable with embracing, like, femininity and sexiness. And the more, I guess, feminist parts of the world are like, "Oh, that's objectifying. That's like a stripper sport, and it's not serious, and we're serious feminists, so don't do that." That was such a tangent on pole dance that I don't think anyone cares about, but writing this down for me was like, "Oh, this is important," and it's the first thing that came to me. It's something that makes me happy, so it's a priority. So I wanna be able to comfortably afford pole dance classes, and if I'm not able to find a great pole dance studio, then I wanna be able to have a space where I have my own pole and I can practice on my own. Another hobby and interest that I wrote down is painting. I've never really developed a painting skill, and I've always wanted to. I've painted very little, and for me, that's something that was the second thing that came to me, so I know, okay, this is also a priority. The other thing that I wrote down is I wanna be doing pottery. I just wanna make things with my hands. It's always fun to do that, and it's always such a surprise once you do the glazing. You never know what's gonna come out of it. For me, every time I do the glazing, I'm like before the glazing, I always think, "Oh my god, I'm not bad at this actually. Maybe I have a little bit of a talent." And then I do the glazing, and I'm like, "Oh, that sucks." Also, another very expensive hobby. So, it's a little bit of a pattern here where I wanna do things that are very expensive. Another one that I wrote down is woodworking. I wanna learn to build things. I feel like building things is such a godly skill to have. I feel kind of envious of how skilled men are with woodworking. I'm like, "Did your dad teach you how to do this? Is this something that, like, a bunch of dudes, like, get together in a woodworking cabal and they all figure out how to do? Like, how does this work? Where do I sign up to learn to do woodworking?" Although word working is something that I've also been working on. Another thing I wrote down is writing. This wasn't at the top of the list because I don't really consider it a hobby. It's something that I wanna do more professionally, but still it gives me joy to write, so I added it to the list. I love writing, I love storytelling, and I feel like with Substack, that is a medium for me to really have fun with it. I've linked it down below. You can follow me there. The issue that I've had with writing is that I've been kind of in a dark place for these, I don't know, months, many, many months of me feeling disconnected from myself and kind of lost and not really knowing who I am. And so all of my writing has been very dark and not really something that I feel that comfortable with sharing. And now that, w well, in a few days for me, already happened for you, that we Pluto has moved into Aquarius, I'm hoping, praying into the gods of astrology that it's gonna be something that's gonna be, I'm gonna be feeling a lot better, a lot more positive, and, my writing can also be something that I can share. Another thing I wrote down is music and singing. I really want to join, like, some singing group or choir, and I haven't been able to really do it at all in a social setting. When I was living in the Azores in Portugal, I was begging old ladies to let me know when their church choir was happening because I really wanted to join. They never let me in their little choir club. I don't know why, but they didn't even give me a chance to audition, but I do wanna find a way to be able to do more of it because it just makes me happy, you know, and I feel like singing in a group of people, I don't know, I just wanna chant with a bunch of other bitches, you know? Sometimes you just wanna chant with bitches, and that's okay. The next question that was easy for me to answer was, "What does future me eat?" I spent many years figuring out the things that work for me and the things that really do not. So I've written down I follow a high vibrational diet. You really have lost me to the crunchy movement at this point. I'm just letting everyone know I am there and I'm not planning on leaving. But for me, what a high vibrational diet means is eating as much organic as possible, eating as local as possible, eating from food from the farmer's market, and making sure that I am aware that I'm putting things in my body that actually benefit my body, and I'm putting them in my body for the benefit of my body. I've never eaten much organic, and my partner eats almost exclusively organic, so when we started living together, I also started switching to all organic. I've been learning a lot this past year about the food system in the US, and it is terrifying. And so I'm doing my best to stay away from foods that have been grown using pesticides. Some people get triggered by this topic. If you want to eat GMO, if you want to drink pesticide juice, have at it. I'm not here to stop you. This is my reinvention workbook, okay? And I don't wanna eat that stuff, and I'm not trying to force anyone to not eat that stuff. I understand it's really expensive. It's incredibly expensive, but for me, there's no price for my health personally, because 'cause I've been on a health roller coaster, so anything that I can do to feel better, I have to do it. I really don't have an option at this point. The next prompt here is, what are the 3 qualities that future you embodies? So these are the top 3 things that people will mention about you when they're describing you. So when you think about your friends or family or whatever, just think about one person and you have to describe them with 3 words. Maybe you're thinking, this person might be generous, they might complain all the time, and they might be really funny, right? So think about the top 3 things that you want people to associate you with. What I put down is kind. I have a complicated relationship with kindness where I feel like sometimes it comes out really genuinely and sometimes it feels really forced. And I want to be more of just a genuinely, naturally kind person. And that's something that I'm working on because sometimes I get really bitchy and really snappy, and I don't like that about myself. And other times, I will kind of be super exhausted and super just, like, out of it and not able to be a kind person and just kind of not even be there, not be present, and able to be myself and be the version of myself that I wanna be, and so the second thing that I wrote is I want to be present, and that means a lot of different things. I'm, like, shaking my hand aggressively, but, for me, present means someone that is able to when something happens, I don't want to be thinking about my response after 3 days. I don't want to even be thinking about my response or my reaction after like 10 minutes. I want to be able to be grounded in myself, feel safe and secure in my identity and who I am, and have enough energy to be present as well so that when things happen, I'm able to react in a more authentic way. Being a person that is present, that's able to crack jokes and be fun and be alive and be here in the world with everyone is something that I really want to be able to do more of. And then the third thing that I wrote down is I want to be seen as commanding and assertive. And for me, being able to be seen as both kind and assertive is really important because being just kind and lovely is kind of a recipe for people to walk over you a little bit. And I want to be able to have a balance between kindness and someone that you like and really enjoy spending time with, but also know not to fuck with this person. I don't wanna be a dog that barks and doesn't bite. I want people to know that I will bite if I have to. And so far, I've been a dog that doesn't bark and doesn't bite and kind of cowers away and fawns, and I don't wanna do that anymore. I'm kind of really sick of being that person. So yeah, kind, assertive, and present. Those are the top 3 qualities that I wanna embody. Next one is, how does future me react when a crisis is happening? So, what do you do when shit hits the fan? How does future you handle problems? What I wrote down is, when things don't go my way, my first approach is humor. I want to be able to not kind of get pissed off immediately. I have an Aries moon, so it's kind of hard. I'm not this, like, screamy, yelly person outwardly, but I definitely have an internal reaction of fire and rage that I wanna be able to handle. I don't want it to go away, but I wanna be able to have more control over this fiery reaction. So, I wanna be able to kind of, when I'm startled by something that I hear that I don't agree with, don't like, I wanna be able to laugh about it first. I wanna be able to say, "Hey, did you really mean that? What were you trying to say when you said that?" Also, I wrote down, I don't wanna make things a bigger deal than they are. And I wanna believe that it will all work out in the end. I feel like I've been allowing myself slowly to become this person that's kind of making things a bigger deal than they are, and I'm noticing this happening, and I really wanna stop it while this habit is forming. The way that my brain works, I kind of always jump to the worst case scenario, and I spiral, and I think about all the ways that everything can go wrong, and what is the most wrong that they can go, and obviously, it's exhausting to think that way, and it's really stressful, and so I'm trying to retrain myself to understand that everything will work out in the end. No matter what happens, that's it working out in the end, you know? And I wanna be more optimistic about my future, because so far I'm still alive, I'm still here, everything's fine, you know? And this anxiety that I have around everything just becoming the worst case scenario is not helpful. I kinda wanna have it, like, stamped on a T-shirt. Everything will work out in the end. It just will. It's a fact. Doesn't mean it will all go my way. That's not what this mantra is, but everything will work out, for better or worse. And the last thing I wrote down is, when disrespected or confronted, I am able to remain calm yet assertive. I stand up for myself, I establish boundaries, and maintain a humorous approach. The humorous approach is the hardest one, but I have had an issue with setting boundaries. As a matter of fact, I just don't do it because I am conflict avoidant. And so what happens is I become resentful and I become bitter, and I even stop talking to people over it because I would rather just sever the connection rather than address how I feel like that person disrespected me. So yeah, when I'm disrespected or confronted, I want to be able to be like, excuse me, did you intend to say that? Did you intend to treat me in that way? If so, don't do it again, because there will be consequences, and these will be the consequences. Uh, all good. No problem. Moving on. That's it. I feel like I am just in the place where at 33 years old, I'm learning how to set boundaries, and so it's clunky, and it's not really working well yet, but I'm also trying to be kind to myself and understand that, like, hey, you were never taught how to do that, and that's fine. Now you are, and you got this. The next question is money. That's not a question. I mean, it's a statement. But what's going on with money with future you and future me? And what are we doing about it? For this past year, I have not been making any money, and I've been living off of my savings, and that doesn't feel good to me. I don't feel good kind of watching my savings go down. For me, the money that I have and the money that I make are massively important to contributing to how I feel safe. I think that also it's good to explore, like, what relationship we all have with money. For me, money means safety. Money also means spoiling myself. It means giving myself more opportunities and options in life, and I have had in the past a lot of negative connotations with money that I'm trying to get rid of. I know that I'm not someone that can thrive in a 9 to 5 job where there's a steady income coming in, but I know that I do wanna be able to have income coming in to my account. I have way too many interests and hobbies, and my diet is extremely expensive, and I wanna be able to afford these things without a silent tear rolling down my cheek. And the other thing with money is I wanna be making enough money that I'm able to comfortably spoil everyone that I love. Gift giving is one of my love languages, and it makes me so happy to give people gifts. It's not just about buying a mug, buying a candle, and being like, "Here you go, here's your gift." Like, I love putting time and finding things for people that or making things for people that they will genuinely love. And I also like receiving gifts for anyone that knows me that's watching this right now. Hint, hint, wink. Off to the next question, and that is, what is home for future me? I feel like location defines everything. And so I feel like it's important to answer a lot of questions first before you get to the home category, because then you know kind of what lifestyle you want. And that sort of helps you shape where you can pinpoint on the map that this lifestyle can be lived. Before answering this question, I have felt so lost for a very long time about where I want to live in the States. Obviously, my partner has a house in Florida, and we've been living there. I've been living there for a year now. I have not been able to acclimate to Florida. I loved living in New York, but even if I had an infinite amount of money, I don't think that I would love to permanently live in a city. I like nature. I like being able to breathe in clean air, and I like quiet as well. So I do wanna be able to visit New York, but I don't feel right now that I want New York to be my home as much as I love that city, and I've never really loved many cities. I'm not much of a city person, but New York I loved. But when I visited Maine, that place felt a lot more like somewhere that I'd like to settle down with my partner, hopefully. They liked it too, so fingers crossed. Next up, what does future me look like? So does she have bangs? Does she have a buzz cut? What kind of clothes does she wear? It might be a little bit of a superficial question, but it is a question that kind of determines the lifestyle that you follow. Like for me, I do want to be fit. So that means I need to be engaging in physical activity multiple times a week. I also want to have healthy skin, healthy hair, healthy digestion. That means taking care of myself, taking care of my stress levels, making sure that I am giving myself healthy, nutritious food. And then the other thing that is important to me is having well-fitting clothes that are high quality. I want to be able to dress myself with things that fit well. Fit is the most important thing when it comes to dressing yourself and feeling confident, at least for me personally. I don't care about being trendy. Next question is one that was harder for me to answer, and it's, what are the goals of future me? I wrote down, I want to be married. That's something that is a massive goal for me. I wanna be able to have a secure and steady partnership. I don't want this hippy-dippy lifestyle where I have a partner for, like, 10 years, and we're just cool like that, and we don't need to get married because we don't want the government involved in our love. Like, I used to think that way, and ever since I realized I was queer, I kind of fundamentally changed my opinions on a lot of stuff, actually. I'm no longer okay with settling with being a girlfriend. I don't want to be a girlfriend anymore. I want to be a wife. And it's not that I want a wedding. It's not that I want a grandiose party or to wear a dress. What I want is a promise that is shared in front of the people that mean the most to me, and to have a moment in time where me and my partner are promising to each other that no matter what, we are there for each other. We are each other's number one, and we want to be in each other's life forever, and we want to build a life together. Next goal is to have kids, which is something that might come to a shock to a few of you because I've been very staunchly anti having children for my whole life. And something kind of changed again after I realized I was queer and being in queer relationships where I'm like, "Hmm, whoa, this is some interesting thoughts that I'm having about kids. Why do they not annoy me anymore? Why do I think they're cute? Why do I want one of my own? What is happening?" Also, part of that is having a niece. I mean, I love my nephew, but I'm a girl's girl, okay? And my niece is the greatest light that has existed in my world, and my sister is so lucky to have the cutest child on the entire planet. Obviously, like, being an aunt is not the same as being a mom, but I don't know, there's something about, like, having a daughter or, like, 2 daughters that is just like, "I want that now." I feel like ever since my relationship with my family has gotten a lot better, all because of my hard work, but I feel like now that I have a better relationship, especially with my mother, I I feel like I can and have the ability to have a family that's actually a happy family. Because I never, growing up, had good examples of what a happy, healthy family looks like, and it's always made me very cynical towards marriage, towards having kids, and I think of part of it now, me changing my opinions on this stuff, is the fact that I've worked on myself and I've gained a lot more trust in myself that, hey, that doesn't have to necessarily be the fate of my family if I do that. But yeah, I've been looking at what my life could look like when I'm older, and I really don't want solitude. I want the richness of a happy family. And I feel like I've worked enough on myself now to be able to actually have that, and I trust myself enough that that is a possibility, that if I want that, I can have it. And yeah, it's been interesting. Kind of acknowledging that and understanding that that's something that I want. Another goal is I want to be a published author and I want to write books professionally. That is a huge goal for me. And then I elaborate for like a whole page basically on how I achieve these goals. So when it comes to being married, how do I achieve that? Because it's one thing to wanna be married, and then it's another thing to actually make it happen and to commit to another person and to commit to the growth that you have to subject yourself to in order to have a successful relationship with another person that lasts for as long as I want it to last, which is a lifetime. And then when it comes to having kids, how does future me parent children? How have they worked on themselves in order to be a good parent. When it comes to becoming a professional author, I need to network, I need to do workshops, I need to invest even more time and energy into this, honestly, because being self-taught can only get me so far. So I need to explore my options on how do I become better at this. Okay, next up is, what relationships does future me have? What kind of friendships? What is future you married, dating, single, having fun? Are they traveling around? Are there a lot of flings in future you's life? I picture something really traditional. I want to be married, like I said. I want a closed relationship. I, at the moment, have a lot of long distance friends that I treasure, but I also really have a need for close in-person friendships other than my partner. I've always really wanted just a group of gal pals where we get together once a week. Do we review a book? Do we watch a movie? Do we have cocktails? Do we make art? Do we go on a hike? I don't give a shit. I just need a flock of bitches to hang out with, and I'm serious. This is a serious, monumental need of mine. Maybe we get together and we build furniture. I don't care. I don't care. I'm flexible like that. I'm easygoing. I'm fun. And then the last one is, after you have done all of this basically soul searching and identifying all the things that future you does and wants and has, now, how do you get there? So the final point here is, what are the daily and weekly routines that future you participates in and engages in order to become this person? This is where you have to get as detailed as possible. This is where you bring out your notebook, your agenda, your daily planner, your bullet journal, whatever you call it, and you start kind of project managing your life in order to become that person. I think it's very easy to get lost in the fantasy of being like, "Oh yeah, it'd be nice to be this person. It would be nice to have this." And the real work is actually making it happen. The real work is actually committing to understanding, in order to be this person, this is what she does in order to have the life that she has. So this is what I have to do as well. If she has glowing skin, it's because she doesn't eat junk food. So if I want to be her, I need to stop eating junk food. If she's making a lot of money, it's because she's organized with her time and she's allocating it into things that are helping her make money. She's putting a lot of work and she's investing her time and her energy into things that are helping her make money. So what does her day look like in order to make this money? If she has a family, what kind of behaviors is she participating in order to be in a healthy relationship instead of a toxic relationship? What kind of people is she dating in order to be in this healthy relationship? And what kind of people is she being like, "Wait, those are a lot of red flags, and even though you're hot, I can't keep dating you because I have these certain goals in my life and I know that you can't give that to me." So this is where the work starts, and it's happening, baby. Pluto is in Aquarius, and we gotta get with a program. We can do this, girls. We got this. You got this. I believe in you. But yeah, I hope you found this useful, and I hope it gave you kind of an opportunity to reflect and identify what you want. I think it's so important for so many of us that struggle with answering these questions. And thank you so much for watching.